Test, 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 test. Just waiting for a few people to show up. I don't even know how to tell anymore. But if anybody is here, please type in the chat box. That way I know you're here and that the sound is working. I love being up on a Saturday morning real early. And I almost wasn't up. I almost wasn't up at 7. But right before the show, I was doing a little meditation and I fell asleep for just a little bit. I can't remember how long, maybe 20 minutes, maybe that long. And I woke up when I heard the alarm going off. And what's funny is I think I set my alarm like 3 times or something like that to go off, like in between 6 and showtime, like in between the an hour before showtime and showtime, and it didn't go. None of them went off, and but 5 minutes before showtime, I popped my eyes open, and I wonder if the phone was doing something, or I don't know what even got me up, but I'm excited to be up and on time today. Excuse me. Hey, Private Beautiful. Hey, Sheila. Yeah, afternoon in the UK, you know. Well, I really appreciate, right, that, now, since the whole pandemic, right, and all the lockdowns and good morning, Faith, and all the stuff that, really made it to where, like, staying home, like, I don't know, like, now staying home is like my norm, right? Like, I used to have my feet outside of this house every day. But ever since, you know, um, being home a lot, my schedule has changed, where, I'm up in the night and sleep part of the day, that kind of thing, right? And I always appreciate that since YouTube, uh, there's always somebody awake, you know what I mean? Like so like if it's nighttime here, like there's, it's daytime in Australia or whatever, and it's like there's always somebody to talk to. There's always an email to answer. There's always maybe a Skype message or something. And it used to be like super, super busy for me, like uh, right after the stream ended, I would get a lot of messages right after, like immediately when it ends, about how it was or if it was good or if there was any kind of like, I don't know, disagreements or whatever. But lately it's been kind of scattered throughout the day and it's been kind of, I don't mind it either way, but it has its advantages both ways. But yesterday I had to go to an appointment and then check for um, to get my phone upgraded, and that's all set to go. They just didn't have it in stock, so when it rains, it's always something, right? And so yeah, man, oh wow, I feel good today. Like I didn't feel good when I first woke up. Like I was like, oh, I got a headache. Oh, you know, um, was kind of tired. Oh, I had like maybe a slight bit of anxiety or something. And I was like, oh man, I don't feel that good. But I did a quick prayer, and man, I feel pretty good, you know, right now. Why? Why did the YouTube take all your likes away? Explain how that works. I don't even know how all this works about the likes and the dislikes and the. I don't know how it even works. So you're not getting a notice that I'm getting a stream. Hey, Ray of Sunshine. If I didn't say hi when you came in, hey, Cindy. So what do you mean, Cindy? They take your likes away? Like what? I mean, sorry. Faith was saying they take your likes away, and then Cindy was saying that you weren't getting a notification. I don't know how this even works anymore. This YouTube, man. Like, okay, supposedly there's 1,200 and whatever people, right? Subscribe to this channel. I put out a notice, right, that says, okay, well, put a thumbs on here if you are getting these messages, right? And I get 30 get 30 likes, and I'm like, where's all these 1,200 people, man? Like, where, where's all? I mean, do people like? I do remember like at the very beginning, I would be like, hey, sub to my channel, I'll sub to your channel, you know, something stupid like that, you know, just to kind of, you know, it was important at first to grow, you know, and you know, if like I seen somebody, I mean, it's possible a lot of people sub to the channel and they don't listen, you know, but I mean that many, I mean that's crazy. I just don't understand how it works. I don't understand how it works anymore. Yeah, like if you have a friend that says, you know, or somebody like in a chat like here, and you say, "Oh, okay, let's all sub to each other." Like I've done that a lot of times where um, we all subscribe to each other to stay in touch. You know, I'll sub you, and you guys all sub me, or whatever. And I wonder if some people just do that and then never listen. I don't know. It'd be nice to get like, you know, 500 views or something like that. Would be awesome, you know. So you noticed you got 5 dislikes on a video that's been up for years. It's never had a dislike before. And for how long has it been up for? For just for years. And then some regular some regular video, and now it's got thumbs downs on it. Well, you know exactly what that is, Cindy. Is we're being trolled, man, by people that said they were our friends, right? I mean, it's not even our enemies, man. It's people that say that they're our friends, right? And then flip out, you know? And I'm starting to think that a lot of people are in the truth community just to cause drama or waste our time, you know? Like, I really think that, like, some people are more caught up in the truth community than in, you know, the truth at all. You know what I mean? And now some of it's funny, right? Like some of it's funny. Like you know, I'm guilty of of watching, you know, Nacho Mama. I don't know if you ever heard of her, but I like I look. It's a guilty pleasure, you know. But I'll click on it, and she'll be making fun of somebody, and I have no idea who she's making fun of. You know, it's just she's making fun of another truther or whatever, you know, and just how hilarious it is, you know. And I'm like, oh, I feel bad for both sides, of course, you know. Like I don't want anyone to be made fun of, and I don't make fun of people. Like that's not my thing. I don't like people making fun of me, so I don't make fun of other people, right? But it's just it's sometimes it's so hard not to click on it and just see what's going on. Some of them are pretty funny, you know. I guess if somebody imitated me, I guess I would find that pretty funny, I guess. But like, I mean, if someone picked, if like we're picking on each other, I don't like that kind of game. I used to hang around guys like that in school. They would all talk trash or whatever, and then I realized, I don't got to hang out with nobody. Like I'll just go somewhere else if I'm not happy. Yeah, man, troll. I don't understand what people get out of trolling. Like, what do people? What's the payoff? Why would you, out of all the places you could go on the internet, right? You could go basically anywhere you want and look up whatever you want. I mean, everything's on the internet. Everything, right? You can go learn how to build a birdhouse if you want, right? You could, go learn how to fix a car, whatever, origami, right? Why would you go somewhere that you hate? Just go somewhere that you hate to tell the person that you hate them, you know? Like, wouldn't that be a miserable existence if you hung out, you know, around your enemies all the time to hate them? Is there some kind of, yeah, like prank calling and all that? I mean, okay, so, they had the Jerky Boys came out. That was kind of funny, like, to a point, right? It's like, okay, it's funny. Okay, it's funny. And then, after a while, it's like, okay, okay, man. Like, okay. Like, it's funny, but like, come on, man. You know? Hey, Shepherd's Voice, how you doing? Who else slipped in here that I didn't say hi to? Marisi, how you doing? Yeah, it's just I'll never understand the troll mentality, or even like if like I don't know, like if people are talking negative about you, why even click on that? Like you know what I mean? Because once you click on it, it's very hard to have restraint. You know what I mean? To like really have restraint, you're gonna want to defend yourself, right? And if a person isn't willing to be reasonable and get to the bottom of something, right? They're just gonna make fun of that too. I mean, you put yourself in a hole at some point. And the only way is to just not care. Just you know. I mean, I kind of don't care. I mean, yeah, I would prefer if people didn't say anything bad about me. But I mean, but not everyone's gonna like you. That's just the way it is. Like I've had people block me, and I'm like, I don't bug anybody, right? Like it's rare, but it happens, right? And it's just the way it is, right? Like they have the right to do that. And so it is what it is. I know that not everyone's gonna like me, but it doesn't make it to where you like it, but it's understandable. Like if someone doesn't like your shirt, they don't gotta like you. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. And I used to always try to make people like, I used to always try to make people happy or try to make people, you know what I mean? Like always try to like not pander, but kind of cater to people. And for other people to be comfortable, but you can't do that to everybody. I mean, I have to do some tap dancing here, right? On this platform because some people want to hear it this way, some people want to hear it that way, and then of course there's disagreements sometimes, and I can't make everyone happy, but what I can do is understand, even if I disagree, understand how you got to where you're at, you know what I mean? And hopefully that's enough. Hopefully it's like, well, where we all have disagreements, right? Because you're not going to ever find two people that agree 100% on everything. That's I mean that's super rare. And so there's always going to be like you know something we're going to disagree on. But if you like, it's like this. Like if you could get like say you have like loved ones, right, that are hard to reach. right? That you want them to understand all this stuff that we're talking about, right? You want them to see it so bad, you know? And if you could get that person, right, in your life that's like that, right? To understand what I know or what, you know, Cindy knows or what Faith knows, right? You would be ecstatic, right? That, oh, wow, I got my loved one to accept this much of the truth, you know, to really see it. And so, like, while we might have disagreements and we might, like, um, you know, get at each other's nerves once in a while, right? Like, we're really close, so close to, so closely alike, you know, that there's so much that we agree on, you know. I mean, some things are not debatable. I mean, you know, I'm not going to sit here and debate anything about Jesus, you know. I'm not. I don't want to hear that, you know, because it was too much. It was too long and hard of a road, and too many rabbit holes to go down to get to where I'm at to get to what I know, you know. I mean, look, it was just too hard, you know, and and you know, to come to find out that really, like, what's true is really the best thing that could be true, you know, like out of all things that could be true, for for Jesus to be our Lord and Savior and that He died for our sins, right, is like the best thing it could be. Like, what, we get to go to eternity, that perfect contentment that we don't deserve, and someone paid our punishment for us, like, well, okay, I'm down with that, but you'll still get people that'll say, "Oh yeah, why should we be punished in the first place?" You know, it's like, well, you know, like, why are you asking all the wrong stuff, right? God punished Himself, right? He didn't punish you. You know, like, I mean, come on, man. You know, like, there are some, like, there's a difference between not believing in God, right? If you don't believe, right, then you just haven't gotten there yet, because it is true, you know. But, like, there's a difference between not believing and hating God. You know, if you hate God, that's on you, man. That's your problem. And it's like, it's crazy because, like, you'll get some people they'll try to give you these you know, little traps, like, well, is God all powerful or is God all good? You know. Well, let's see. We were created by God, right? So He defines what's good, right? Like, there is no good without God, right? Everything He does is good because it's His world, you know. And so, what are we gonna do with our little peanut brain? Like, decide what's good and bad, and then apply that to God somehow? You know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, just wickedness, you know. Um, hey, Pamela, did you hear about the farmers being paid to destroy crops all over the U.S.? We are in. No, I haven't heard. I haven't heard that. But I know that, man, there is just so much going on right now. And you know how I was talking about yesterday? I think that the jab is doing something to people's empathy, you know? Because the people that have gotten the jab that normally call me all the time, right? Like, haven't really talked to me, right? Like, they're not as social anymore. And um and Arwen was saying this morning that there's a lot of breakups going on. Like, he's noticing a lot of people just breaking up, you know? And so, like, that's one thing that's going on. And this thing with the farmers, right? If they're being blackmailed to destroy crops, right? It's because they want to control the food supply, you know? I mean, this is a very scary thing, right? Like, if the government controls the money, like, I don't care what they say about these banks being private or whatever, those same people, right, um, control all the money. You know, that's the way it is, right? And so they could just turn that off anytime they want, and you're screwed. I mean, as soon as they put anything in your body, that is how you pay for things, that's when it gets scary, because they could stop you from buying anything. Because see, right now we have cash, we have different cards and all this stuff, right? Not all your eggs in one basket. But as soon as they put it in your body, they could just turn you off. Now, if they control the food supply, it's the exact same thing. If they're the only ones that have food, they could make sure you don't eat. And this whole thing with the farmers, man, that's very concerning, because a lot of farmers, right, and people don't realize this, but they don't make most of their money on the crops or the food. They get subsidies, right? And so they make most of their money in subsidies. So yeah, they do grow crops, right? But uh, they're asked to grow sometimes specific crops over and over and over again, where normally they would rotate their crops and take care of their land, right? But say like the government says, well, we just want you to grow this type of thing, and they'll subsidize them, when they can't grow stuff on certain parts of their land, and they get checks, from the government. But like even more so if they were, so they already kind of control all the food, the government, but if they turn off those subsidies, right, the farmers will have to do what they got to do to make those checks, right? So if they're being told to like, destroy their crops, they have to do it. It is crazy times, man, because I mean, and all these GMOs and all this stuff, it's like anytime you start messing with the fabric of reality, right? Like, and trying to improve, things that God has created a certain way, right? Anytime you're trying to like recreate, like a better tomato or a better metal or a better, like it's very dangerous to do that. It's I mean, it's like Frankenfood, basically, like to um, alter the way God made a tomato, right? Could have like very damaging effects on us, because if you believe in evolution, then it's like these people believe that they discovered tomatoes and that they could eat them, right? But I mean, in reality, God created us, and so God created those tomatoes specifically for our body, right? And so if you alter that, right? Yeah, okay, it might taste better or look better, right? But it might not, you know, we might not be able to tolerate it as well, Like our body's not meant to eat a Twinkie, or you know, cherry cobbler or whatever, like we're supposed to eat, things, you know, right off the tree, right off the vine or whatever, maybe cooked or whatever, and meat is supposed to be something sparingly, it's not supposed to be, I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, I used to eat a lot of meat, so I'm not saying that there's one way that's better or not. I'm not a vegetarian, right? But I don't eat a lot of meat. It's rare, maybe a little handful a week or something like that. And it's only because I just like it's just naturally like I just stopped craving it. I don't know why that is. But I don't think that it's supposed to be an everyday thing, because I don't look at an animal, right, and uh start craving to eat it. I don't know, you know what I mean? You got to do a lot of stuff to meat to make it um appetizing, but it is good when it's prepared, right? So I know it's meant for us to eat, you know. I mean, the Last Supper was what, a Passover Seder, right? Like, so they had a lamb there, right? Yeah, I'm just not really a yeah, I'm just not really a meat eater, but I'm not a vegetarian. Yeah, and see, like they say that like pork is unclean, right? And I know that the food laws have changed since Jesus came back, right? And now we could eat it, right? But man, why is it so darn tasty, you know? If that's supposed to be the meat we're not supposed to have, why is it so good, you know? Like there's something wrong with that. Like why is the stuff that I would want to eat be so tasty and be the worst thing for me, you know? I don't know. There's a lot of questions I have for God, you know? Not in an arrogant way, right? But like, you know, I I don't understand a lot, you know? Like I don't know why things are the way they are, you know? I would I would like to know. And I'm sure that they would all make sense at one point, you know? Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, yeah, I mean, I think we've all been mockers at some point, but you know, once you start having God in your life, right? You do it a lot less, you know, because you know that like it's not a good it's not good character. It's a character flaw to be, you know, that kind of way. Especially like if you read Proverbs a lot, you know that just any kind of being a scoffer, being any kind of like dismissive of things, you know, when you hear them, you know, you don't learn anything being that way, you know, and it's not an attractive quality, you know. Yeah, I like vegetables, but meat does taste good now that I think about it. I just don't eat a lot of it. But it's not that I don't, it's not that I'm against it. You know, I almost just don't know anymore, you know? I almost just don't know anymore. Like the more you learn and the more you learn about like the truth and deception and all that, the more the more you realize that you don't know a lot of stuff, you know? And you get so many people that once you know the truth, right, they want you to not believe it, you know? Even though they're not offering you something different, right? And they can't tell you how you benefit from not believing something. Like, how do I benefit if you talk me out of something? Like, what's the payoff for that? Like, you know what I mean? I like what it like, and you know, like, there's people where I've shown them like time after time, like why I believe what I believe and why I think, you know, how I came to the truth, right? And have had people just, you know, give me reason after reason why they don't want to believe it. And I just don't understand why people are so opposed to, like, it's almost like they, from the very beginning, from the very outset, don't want to believe in God and they'll look for anything that they can to not believe it and then share that with you know, but it's like they ignore all the stuff that's you know it's like I can't explain it. It's like they look just to confirm their own bias, you know. Oh yeah, the chicken or the egg, right? Well, that's obviously it's easy, man, because you need two chickens to make a fertilized egg. I mean, you can't have just one chicken and then have an egg that cracks open and becomes a chicken. You need two chickens. So obviously the chickens came first, you know. But people don't think about that. Like people don't put it all together, you know. They think, okay, well, one chicken, one egg, or whatever, blah blah blah, you know. For messing with me, yeah, yeah. They're both delicious. That's true. Yeah. Well, yeah, but like you like people, some people bring these like riddles, you know, chicken or the egg or whatever, as if it's some kind of debate, you know. But it's like you need two chickens. Like it's like saying like what came first, the mama or the kid, you know. You can't have a kid without him, you know what I mean? Only Jesus was born without an earthly dad, right? Or Adam too, huh? I guess you could say, but he didn't have a mama either. I wonder if Adam had a belly button. That was interesting to think about. Oh, what do you guys think? Hey, type a one if you think Adam had a belly button, and a two if you don't. That's interesting. You know, we would never be able to find out until we get to the kingdom. But chicken farming, it is a wonder that we eat any at all. It's brutal. Yeah, yeah. It's not good for the chickens. They're real packed in there and everything. But if like I'm sure Michigander has his own chickens, right? You raise your own chickens and stuff, right? Like chickens and eggs and stuff like that. Because I think it was you, right? That said you have like a farm or something like that, some kind of mini farm or. But yeah, God did make the chicken. That's true, man. He did. He made the chicken and a rooster. So you guys are saying no belly button, huh? I mean, it would make sense that he didn't have one because he didn't have an umbilical cord, right? A case of chicken wings is $196. Thank God. I mean, I'm embarrassed to tell people what I eat, you know, because I eat just like the minimalist thing that you can have, and I save a lot of money on food that way. I don't ever change it up. It's always the same. Yesterday, well, yesterday I had we went out and had pancakes. It's that's rare for me, and I don't usually have sugar at all, like almost zero sugar, maybe 1 gram a day or something like that of sugar. And I had pancakes yesterday, so I'm kind of paying for that now, but like not really, not as bad as you would think. But yeah, like my food bill is like $60 a week, maybe, so it's pretty cheap. Maybe even less than that. Maybe even less than that. But with two kids, man, shoot, they're expensive. I thought when child support ended, right, that like that I was gonna be like free somehow financially, but they're more expensive now than when they were kids. You know, I mean, in adulthood, oh, Dad, can I get $30 for gas or this and that? You know, like, oh my God. Yeah, sugar. You know what? I never realized that before about the sugar, and then once you stop eating sugar, you realize like once you start eating it again, you're like, oh, my body does not want this, right? All the water in your body it just like flows to your stomach, to like get it out of your body, right? And you can feel that process, although it makes your brain feel good and it makes you kind of happy for a minute, right? And I could think like real super clear, like when I eat some sugar. But man, my body doesn't want it in there, and I could tell that it's poison. You know, like I don't really differ on. I eat the same thing all the time, right? I know I shouldn't even talk about this. I'll just get trolled anyway, right? But if I differ it at all, right? If I eat like sugar, or if I eat like I like caffeine, or these things change the way I feel. Like I can feel what food does to me, you know. Like I didn't realize this, right? We don't think about it, right? But like everything, every variable, right, makes you feel something, right? Everything you breathe, everything you hear, everything you see, everything you eat, every medicine you take, right? It all has an effect on you, right? Just like if you were to take like pain pills or something, well, eating a steak has makes you feel a certain way too. You don't think about it, right? Because you know you just eat whatever a variety of stuff, right? And you don't think about how each thing makes you feel, but food changes the way you feel, right? And so if you the least amount of variables, right, that you could intake, the more at peace you will feel, you know. But you know, I mean, I really deprive myself, you know, like it takes a lot of discipline to like kind of, and it's not better. I'm still a little bit overweight and all that, like, so it's not like it's not like I'm Mr. Diet or anything. I just don't have a lot of variables in my life, you know. Whereas before I had a lot of different a lot of variety of everything. I did everything, and like I wonder, like if sin, right, like affects how we feel and all that, right? Because I brought up the other day, and I want to make this clear, right? Like I was saying that like maybe um sin is related to being sick, right? And I didn't mean that. I think that sin causes sickness, because obviously there's people that are innocent that are sick. I'm just saying that like there could be a correlation there. Like maybe it's not even that person's sin. Maybe the sin is like all the chemicals they're feeding us, right? And then we're affected by that, or whatever. It could be whatever. But the reason why I was thinking it was connected is because Jesus did heal people, and as he was healing people, he would forgive their sins, and I just wondered, right, just for the sake of conversation, right, for the sake of speculation, if it's connected. And I know that there are like generational curses too, like things you carry through your family, like and so who knows, right? And I just wish that we weren't lied to our whole lives so that we could know, um, what, just, straight from God, right? Like if instead of playing telephone, right, and we get the story we got now, right? If everybody just told the truth from the very beginning, we would know like straight from God's mouth what he said, about everything, and we would be able to live our life in the best possible way for us. We would even know why the rules are the way they are, like sometimes it's obvious how it benefits us, right? And sometimes it's not, and there are some things that I would like to ask him, like, why is this bad, or why is that not good, and it would just be nice, So you've had an exorcism, Deb. I didn't know that. I know that Shepherd's Voice does a lot of stuff with deliverance and stuff like that. And so I know it's a real thing, for sure, And I never had met anybody that's had an exorcism, But see, I did have problems, like, with like drinking and stuff like that, drinking real heavily after the army. And, they look at that like a disease, like, and it did feel like I couldn't stop, But I think the more that you resist it, the easier it gets, Um, but I mean, it could very well be a spirit, just like you have to pray and have Jesus help you overcome that spirit or get it out of you. Or maybe some kind of deliverance, you know? Who knows, right? I mean, I'd like to know more about that, you know? How's your mindset and your faith in your own abilities now that you are what was that again? I missed it. Now that you are no longer in the hood. Oh yeah. I'm a high burn guy. I'm going to eat 8 eggs and a can of green beans, and by 2 o'clock I'll be hungry again. Yep. Well, if you work hard, you know, if you work hard, you know, you're gonna burn off all your energy that you eat, you know. And so when I don't do a lot, you know, I just like I used to enjoy food, right? Enjoy eating, like the taste of food and everything, right? I love food, you know. But now it's more of like something I have to do. I get it out of the way, you know. It's like okay, I need fuel and I have to eat. I can't get around that, you know. But I still overeat even in that sense, you know. Even though I don't enjoy it, it just feels good to be full, you know. And so you know I gotta have a little more discipline in that. I probably need to lose about I don't know 15 pounds. But see, I had that stomach problem for so long, and I was like 20 pounds underweight, you know. That it almost makes me feel safe to have like just a little bit of fat, you know, because I'm like, okay, well, I'm healthy, you know. I'm like, I'm not dying like I was before, you know. And so, you know, I don't know. Nothing wrong with having too much, you know. You don't want to be too skinny, not in these days. I prefer to be overweight any day of the week, you know. So this is one thing about the everyone. Yeah, yeah. Well, sin brings in that kind of stuff, right? Spirits and demons and stuff like that. Anytime you sin, right, it opens the door for Satan, right? Any like all these like he can come through songs, he can come through TV, like any time that we consent to something that's not good for us. I'm not saying that we shouldn't watch TV, or I mean I don't, right? I would prefer if everybody didn't watch TV or listen to the radio, right, or whatever, right? But if that's how you get entertainment and you know what you're doing, right, and you know that what its intention is, you know, for you, it's important to know that, and you enjoy it, then that's you know, it's you know, it's your decision, you know. But it does open the door to stuff, you know. And when and to be honest, like when I hear it, like when you guys are playing it, and I hear it, I enjoy listening to you guys, and you know, or you know, hearing you guys sing or whatever. I think that that's great, you know. Man, we really got on this chicken conversation, following it. It's like so they peck. Wait, what is it? What is it? It's called a pecking order. There are clandestine groups in chickens. If they don't like somebody, they peck them. Oh, I didn't know that. So like certain chickens, they'll peck at like if it's like they eat first. Like if there's an order, right? Like if there's food, a certain chicken will eat first, and then another chicken will eat next, and it's like that, a hierarchy. That's interesting. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I'd like to have somebody on tomorrow. Does anybody want to come on tomorrow and have like I don't know, discussion about stuff, or if there's any kind of like doctrinal issue that you're like split 50-50 on, or something that you know, you have a point of view that you want everyone to hear, or I even like hearing stories about how people got to the truth and their testimony and stuff like that, and what certain truths did for your faith and that kind of thing. What is this here? They will peck them to death if you don't separate them. Oh yeah, man, chickens are vicious, man. Yeah, they even have like these oh, it's horrible, man. They have these chicken fights. I forget what it's called. They have like they bet on them and all that. Chickens fighting each other. It's so horrible, man. Hey Roland, how you doing, buddy? Oh, you want to come on, Roland? Yeah. All right, Roland's coming on tomorrow then. Oh, that'll be fun. I look forward to that. What's up, Hannah? It's good to see you. You changed your picture. It's just the H now. You changed your picture and now it's just the H. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Chickens are vicious, man. And then like when they're all caged up or whatever, it's like, I mean, they defecate on each other. It's horrible, you know? Yeah, you don't want to be double-minded. Yeah. Yeah, I never understood that, right? Why people are like, why would a person want to be double-minded, right? If you know that like you got like, okay, so when I die, I don't have to die. I get to, carry on in everlasting contentment, right? And and somebody had to die and get beat to death for me to do that, right? Why would I accept that gift, right? And then just do what I want? I never understood that, you know? I never understood that. I don't know how you could really believe that, right? And then you would have to be very selfish, right? I mean, because it's like, what about other people, right? Like, okay, so you get the gift of salvation, right? Well, what about other people, right? We gotta act right so we can get other people get the gift to them too, you know? We have to be able to attract these people into what we're doing, right? In order to spread the good news. God wants everybody, right, to make it, even though it's not going to happen, right? But I mean, it's important to get, it's important to get people. Let me read this one here. It says, I don't know about all that. All I know is that it's time to get ready and protect his flock. Yeah. One thing I noticed, I'm twice, three times as strong as almost everybody else. Wow, buddy. Like, is this recent? Like, you feel like this happened recently? You know, that like you gained like a lot of strength recently? Because I'll tell you what, I've been like overloaded with like peace, right? That I never had before in my life. I never felt like I fit anywhere, really, you know? And it's not like anybody ever told me I wasn't cool. I just never felt cool, you know? Like people treated me good. I had a pretty good life, you know. High school was probably my peak, you know, where I feel like I had a lot of friends, right? But a lot of times I felt like, I didn't fit in somewhere, right? But in the last few years, right? Oh man, I'm overloaded with peace, you know? Peace and joy and excitement and I was like I can't wait to meet God, you know? Like Private Beautiful says, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy, the evil way, and the perverse mouth do I hate. Proverbs 8:13. This is the friends of mine that I grew up with in the hood that read the good book and aren't trash. They still come up and see me once in a while. Well, you'll notice that, right? Like, you know, the people that care about God and have God in their lives, right, are they they're more empathetic to how other people feel, you know? There are people out there that only care about how they feel, and they can't feel for you. They don't even have that as part of them, right? They just are very one-sided. They don't even think about how you feel. They just want to get what they can get, you know? Like most of us, right? Like truthers are pretty empathetic people, you know? And so like when I'm talking to you, I can feel your feelings and my feelings. I can feel when I've embarrassed you or if I've hurt your feelings or something like that. I feel bad, you know? And so, you know, like but there are people that don't have that. They don't feel they have other probably skills or qualities or something like that, you know? But or other gifts, you know? But they you know, they don't that's not part of them to feel for you. And I used to think that like people were doing that intentionally to me. Like if somebody didn't like care if they, you know, hurt my feelings or something like that, I'd be like, man, why are you, you know, why are you tripping, you know? Why are you trying to make me feel bad, you know? And these people would be unaware like that they hurt my feelings at all, you know? And you know, I used to not believe that, right? Because like I would have felt it by then, you know, like I would have felt like you know, just by you know gauging the nonverbal communication, you know, the energy of the room, like there's a you know, and especially now with people existing with online personas, right? It's like people are less they pick up less on the nonverbal communication and they pick up less on like you know just the energy of you know the way people talk because everyone's typing, right? And so I want everyone to read what I'm typing in the way that I'm talking, how I talk, you know. But some people read what I'm typing and they're thinking I'm being saying it like mean or something, you know. And so yeah, you know, you're right, socially numb people, but it's even worse than that. It's like even the sharpest, right? Even the sharpest people aren't good at like nuance, you know, or sarcasm even, you know? Like I can't like I don't know how to type sarcasm. It doesn't come out good, right? And like so I know that like it's not something I could use online, right? It's not something at work, you know? And so if you can't tell sarcasm or if you can't tell like you know because sometimes people will answer you with an over sarcastic kind of comment for you to understand just how bad something is, you know? Like I don't have an example of it, but like you know, it's just you know, it's amazing, you know. Yeah, I mean, it is insulting, Arwen. I mean, there's ways to use it, right? Like you could say like, "Oh yeah, but you know, he's the doctor, so he's always right," you know? Like that's not a way to hurt your feeling. I'm just like saying sarcastically, you know, well, he's got to be right because he's got a PhD, you know. I don't really mean that. It's just me being sarcastic, you know. And so if you can't read the nuance in it, right, then it won't, you'll think that I really believe that, you know. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree with Darwin on that. You know, I do find sarcasm insulting. I mean, if someone's being sarcastic right at me, you know, like, oh yeah, tough guy over there, you know, or something. I'm like, hey man, why you gotta take shots at me, man? You know what I mean? But I never liked that, you know. I never liked that kind of vibe, you know, like people talking trash to each other and all that. Like I never liked that, you know. I played baseball for a lot of years, you know, when I was younger, and just, I mean, just the way people talk trash, you know. It's like, oh, what? I don't get that, man. I don't get what the appeal of that is. Like, what's fun about making fun of people, you know? It says right, but when you type it out, the subtlety of it, yeah, is lost. That's right. It's more clear when you're talking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah, you lose like I mean all the nuance and everything about tone and especially the nonverbal communication, man. That's what really bothers me is because I really pick up a lot from how you're standing, how you're sitting. Like I really pick up a lot on you know what I mean? Like how a person is feeling by how they're positioning themselves, you know? Yeah, it's like, and here's the thing, Ray of Sunshine, right? Like, I have friends that they would rather talk and they hate to type. And then I have friends that they only want to type, they don't want to talk. There's some friends I have that I've never heard their voice, you know? Just never I've never heard their voice, you know? And I get both sides of that, you know. It's mostly the younger people don't want to talk so much, you know. And you know, like kids, you know, like in their 20s or something, you know. I know that my oldest son prefers not to really talk. I mean, but when I talk to him, it's fine. You know, it's not awkward or anything, right? But I go long periods of time with just text messages. With my youngest son, I mean, we're always talking. We text a little bit, but we talk a lot, you know. Nobody likes hearing the truth. Yep. Not only do they not like hearing the truth, Michigander, they hate you for the truth. You know, you become the bad guy when you start telling the truth. And Paul said that in Galatians, right? He's like, "What? Am I your enemy just because I tell you the truth?" You know, because these people wanted so bad to like have the law, right? They wanted the law so that like you know you could only be righteous if you did all the law, you know. And really, that's just kind of an ego way of wanting to exclude certain people, you know. They didn't want to be justified by faith, you know. They want to be justified by the law, you know. And you know, I'm speculating on why that is. I think it's ego, you know. Like, oh, okay, I want it to be hard to get to heaven. That way, only people that earn it will be there, you know. And so, I don't know. It doesn't sound very inclusive, you know. I think it's supposed to be fair for everybody, a fair chance for everybody, and that's the whole point of like, it being a gift to us, so no one can really boast, you know. But I did it better, you know. I think it's Ephesians chapter 2 talks about that. Yeah, nobody can keep the law. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, Adam had one law and he couldn't keep it. You know what I mean? Like, so of course we're not gonna. There's no way. You know what I mean? Like, in our flesh that will never be perfect. But in a sense, it's a relief. You know, it's a relief that we don't have to be perfect. You know. Well, I don't know about that, Arwen. There's a lot of man. There's a lot to unpack there in that statement. I mean, it's not my heaven, you know. And we are going to be in our glorified bodies will be incorruptible, right? So I don't think that we're going to have those types of problems, you know. We're going to have everlasting contentment, which is even better than happiness, you know. To always feel right, you know. Is what, Arwen? Let me go back to your statement. No, it's not. No, it's not my heaven. No way. God created everything. This is His show. Everything here is for Him. It's a choice if you want to go or not. You know what I mean? It's like it's up to you. You know, He gives us free will to decide. You know, I mean, heaven is whatever God made it to be, the kingdom, you know? That's right. That's however God created it. Well, first it's going to be the millennium reign, right? So first we're going to live in the New Jerusalem here on earth with God, right? And then after that, after 1,000 years, then you know, heavens and earth are going to be destroyed, and all things will be new. He's going to make everything new, a new heaven and a new earth. But we'll be incorruptible, right? So we'll be made of something different than the dust of the earth. Like we'll be made of a better chemistry, like how the angels are. We'll be immortal. We won't age, we won't die, we won't. We won't hurt, we won't be tired, we won't be hungry. It'll be amazing. Well, I mean, I don't even know if those things will be even issues. I mean, if you're taking human emotions, right, and trying to apply it to heaven, right? Who knows if that's because if you're incorruptible and you're always content, right? Well, then you're not going to have all these human emotions about I don't like this and I don't like that. Like that won't be part of it, right? If you're in a state of being where you feel right all the time, right? Well, then there isn't that type of thinking. It's not. You can't apply things on Earth to how it's going to be in eternity because it's going to be heaven. It's going to be blissful. It's going to be it'll feel good. So I don't think there's going to be like our idea of emotions up there where it's like, oh well, I don't like Uncle Frank, and here he is. That's I don't. It's not going to be like that. We're gonna have much more, right? Our brains will be able to do much more, or our minds, or whatever. Like we're not gonna be as limited. And so, I think a lot of times we take good and bad, like what we define that as, right? And then try to apply it to the way everything is. And that's the problem because it's supposed to be God that defines what's good and bad, right? What's right and wrong, right? But like, the world redefines that every year. It changes what's weird and what's not weird, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, till it just gets out of control. And then what did God say it would be like in the last days? People would call, bittersweet and good, bad, and everything would be all opposite. What are you saying here? So will not be human spirits then? Of course we will be, but we're not human like flesh. But like we'll look like this one, and uh, we get changed into incorruptible bodies. Yeah, we'll have our robes, right? And all that stuff, right? We all get white robes. I mean, I know we at least get that because that's what we're wearing as soon as we meet God is a white robe. But our bodies will be changed to be like incorruptible. We won't age anymore. We won't because we're not gonna die. Like we won't have pain or hunger or anything. If we eat, it'll just be for the pure pleasure of it. You know? Yeah, they're really trying to attack our like the way we think and like these heavy metals have got to be affecting us, right? And I know that jab is affecting people's empathy because I know that the people who gotten the jab have like been less in contact with me, you know. And what's crazy is that you know how in the days of Noah, you know how the word says that there was evil in their hearts continually, you know, continually. And I mean, how would people get like that, right? I can't imagine a person that would have evil in their hearts all the time, right? It would have to be that they were affected by some kind of, you know, medicine, or, you know, like they thought they were improving themselves somehow purging themselves of like fear and guilt, like getting rid of their anxiety and their, you know, guilt and shame and all that, right? To where they wouldn't get their feelings hurt, right? It's like it was probably packaged as something good. They took some kind of shot or something, right? And then boom, they have no empathy for anybody, you know? And then it's just all about what they want for themselves, you know? I mean, how are you going to save somebody like that, you know? I mean, you know, probably it's hard. Well, yeah, humans are flesh. Yeah, I mean, that's our body makeup, you know. So we'll have different bodies. We'll still be us. Whatever is us in this body, we'll still have that, right? We'll have a different body. This flesh will disappear. We'll take off this meat suit, Arwen. It'll be good, trust me. Well, you got to read the word, man, and I mean, that's where you learn the most, you know. And it's really like, you know, God will talk to you specifically in your, like when you read it, you know. I mean, it's a lot of this stuff is nuanced, and then, you know, a lot of it is that God doesn't talk a lot about the kingdom, you know, like, you know, he talks about the kingdom and that it's coming and that, you know, we're going to be able to go there and all this stuff, but there's really not a whole lot of detail about what it's going to be like. But it's made very clear that it's like, don't apply like your human knowledge, right? Like your fleshly knowledge, right? What we know here, right, to what we think it's going to be, right? You know? Yeah, we're going to be like Jesus, you know? I mean, when Jesus was glorified, right? I know, I can't wait, man. I can't wait, man, till we get there. I can't wait till I don't hurt anymore, you know? I'm tired of being tired, you know? I don't want to be tired anymore. I want to know what it feels like to be rested, you know? I'm glad that you have all these questions, Arwen, you know? And I would say that's kind of the right way to be, but it's really important to read it, you know, for yourself, you know. Our transformation, is it still really us? Yeah. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I just know that we won't have like any kind of like, you know, we won't have the fear and the pain and all that stuff. We won't have all that. I don't think she's trying to patronize you, Arwen. You know, she's just been around a long time, you know, and I mean, a lot of times we're, you know, to get to this chat, right? Most people are like, most Christians, they get to this chat of like, you know, I'd say 80% of these people know the Bible better than I do, you know? And so there, you know, you don't make it here without like knowing a lot. And so, you know, no one's patronizing you. They're just telling you, you know. I get why you took it that way though, but it's not that way. I know you're asking questions, right? It's hard to tell. Like it's like you got, it's like I know you hate it when people tell you, "Hey, you got to go read something or whatever." I know that you don't like that. I know that, right? But like that really is the only way to really get it, you know? Oh, you want to know if it'll still be us if we have like if we're not going to complain about people we don't like and all this stuff if it's really going to be us? Well, you know, it it's not really it's it's the way you're asking the questions, right? That's not the spirit of it. Like you want like a yes or no answer to things that have a lot of nuance, right? I get what you're saying, but it's not that way though. That's not the way it is, you know? It's not like, okay, you say this and then but what about this? How could it be this when it's that? It's there is no way to like trap it like that. And people have been doing that for, thousands of years trying to do that, you know? Does God love everybody? And then they'll pull out a verse, oh, well, right here it says God doesn't love this guy. So somehow he can unfairly not love you, and it's like, yeah, you could get the Bible to say whatever you want in that sense, but that's not the way it works, If God promises you something in heaven, right, it's gonna be that way, right? And if it doesn't make sense to us as human beings, right, we have to just not rely on our own understanding of it because God doesn't lie, and like everything He promises will happen. Yeah, we're gonna be made incorruptible. It's still gonna be us, but we're not gonna have these same feelings about like, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that and I don't like him, and that's not gonna be like that. Could I offer you a reason why? No, but if God says everlasting contentment, right? Well, then that's what it is. If God says paradise, that's what it is. That's right. That's exactly it, Paula. But then what I was trying to explain, Paula, is this, right? Like, yeah, okay, so once you have the Bible as your truth, right? And something doesn't like quite like it escapes our own understanding, right? We just have to rely on the fact that God doesn't lie and that He understands it and that we are going to get what He says. And even if we can't reconcile it right in our brain, like how am I going to still be me without having these feelings of I like or dislike this and that, right? You know what I mean? Like you are going to be you, but your feelings aren't going to be like we have here on earth. Well, did you know that you can like actually, if you want, Arwen, right? um they have audio Bible where it's just Jesus's words. If you want to just hear all of Jesus's words in the Bible, just listen to it if you want. If you're not a reader, just listen to it. I would probably just listen to the Bible the way it is. I mean, reading it is the best, I think, but and sometimes I read while I listen. But I mean, if you're not a reader and you know you can't read, listen, because faith comes with hearing the word of God. Hearing it does do something for you. Well, I mean, the Bible is like the inspired word of God, right? Like, so yeah, maybe a man held the pen, right, or whatever. But this is all God talking to us, right? the Bible is written in such a way, right, with so many different magical features to it, right? For lack of a better term, you know, uh, supernatural features to it that were never, we weren't either we were or weren't intended to find, right? That it's impossible that a man wrote it. You know what I mean? It's and I'll tell you what, the fact that it was, men writing it with the of course inspired by God, right? Makes it even more amazing, that these books all got put together over this course of time, like 1,000 years or whatever, 1,500 years. It's amazing, man. Yeah, you're right. The Jews would not have portrayed themselves in such a poor light. You're absolutely right. They were always getting like they. I mean, Moses disappears for a little bit, goes up and they already have a calf. They've seen the power of God, right? And then still don't obey him. Like the Jews would never portray themselves that way. If it wasn't inspired. Oh yeah, that's true. Cindy did stick up for you back in those days. Yeah, he's just saying he's eclectic. He's saying he's you know he's a different kind of thinker. He wasn't saying it in any kind of weird way. I think you guys are just having like a weird communication thing. It's all good. See, he's even saying thanks. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and round out, guys. I'm glad that I went over a little bit. So I guess I think Rowan said he wanted to come on tomorrow. So I guess I'll have Rowan on tomorrow, and we'll figure it out. I stuck up for you on over there too, Arwen, and I got my butt handed to me over there several times. But anyway, so I'll see you guys later, and God bless, and I love you guys. Well, if you see BB anywhere, tell her you know she was missed here. I didn't notice her today, but anyway, I love you guys, and God bless you, and most of all, praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace, and pray for the children. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 o'clock.